What's up, Vinny Malkus Fishing, or Outdoors? As of today, I'm kind of postponing all my tournament stuff for the rest of the year. I mean, if you haven't really paid attention, which I'm sure everybody knows by now, the gas prices are higher than Hunter Biden and Cheech and Chong in a hot air balloon going to outer space. I mean, they're astronomical. I can't justify it. You got a 50-gallon tank on the boat. You got a 30-something gallon tank in the truck. And things have gone up over $1 in the last week or so. So instead of that, we're going to do a lot more videos, probably one a week about the fishing industry, about outdoor news. And then hopefully maybe we can, if they start putting loan departments at the gas stations, we can actually get out and go fishing one of these days. Well, I mean, that's all hyperbole, of course. I'll go fishing sometime. But it's outrageous what's going on, right? Anyway, so I was going to talk about, so we're in this time of year, which is actually my favorite time of year to go fishing for big smallmouth and stuff. And that's, this pre-spawn time or first ice off, which actually in the north, ice off doesn't happen for about a month or so. But when you get to that point, or if you chase that, you're used to seeing stuff like this, right? So this is my tip of the week or whatnot, whatever you want to call these. And these are still good. These are, Megabass Vision 110 in various colors. This is one of my favorites. I got, crystal green or something, some other colors that are like that are just super awesome. Clown and some of the oddball ones, right? Because everybody throws these now. And with that in mind, everybody is throwing these. Certain parts of the country, this is the only jerkbaits like thrown. And then I guess the Berkeley Stunner now, people are actually getting to that. Bleeding a little bit from a cut, shaving, but... The thing is, with everything becoming a little more expensive and whatnot, and even with these prices, I mean, still a lot of pressure on these lakes. Still a lot of tournaments happen this time of year. So a lot of times, I'll start off with a Megabass Vision 110, throw this around, and if I'm not getting anything on there, I don't necessarily say that there's the jerkbait bite's gone, right? I don't do that. Excuse me. Instead, what I end up doing is I go in the old tackle box from back when I was a kid, and I pull out a couple of these guys. You can try different brands, but this brand has been around for a long time. They're a little relatively cheaper than a Megabass stuff, and at times, if you have a lot of guys throwing jerkbaits or a jerkbait bite isn't necessarily hot with the Megabass stuff, I go ahead and I pour in. I got some right here. I'm going to show you because this is my tip right here. So you go back in your old tackle box, or you can just go to anywhere and probably pick these up. They still make, they're still around, obviously. It's Lucky Craft pointers, right? I think regular hooks are pretty good. You don't have to change these out. But I have 3 basic pointers that I throw. And here's the first one, which is like a standard size pointer. And you can see this is in Ghost Minnow. Ghost Minnow was the color in Lucky Craft back in the day. It still is the color in many brands, but throw around this Ghost Minnow and it can be killer, when other people are throwing this Megabass stuff, when everybody is, and there's certain parts of the country where everybody does. Somehow people can afford $25 jerkbaits all the time, and lose them and whatnot. But anyway, so you got their standard pointer. I believe this suspending, jerkbait. You have another deep diving pointer. This one's a little bit smaller. I love this one. I'll throw this one around a lot. And you notice in Lucky Craft colors, well, let me talk about the third one, and then we'll go into the colors. A little bit more in the colors. Here is a slender pointer, which I usually go, well, I'll either go to this one or this one right off the bat if the Megabass isn't really working. And you can see that's got a similar profile, but it's not, right? And it has a little bit different action. Now, what I was going to get to with these is one of my favorite things about Lucky Craft is these kind of colors. Now, obviously I love Ghost Minnow. It's hard to really say anything bad about Ghost Minnow. You really can't. But you talk about the American Shad, and I think there's Hasu, or it might be a different one, but it's another shad, or not shad. I can't remember what color this is, but you can look them up on Tackle Warehouse or whatnot. But here's American Shad. I know this one is it. So if you look at that, I don't know if my lighting is that great. They have realistic scales, and you can even run your finger down them, and they feel like scales. It's pretty cool. To me, it's cool because if you've ever seen underwater like a bait fish that it kind of gets jacked up, or, you know, fish hits it or whatever, a lot of times certain scales will be rearranged or they're flared out because, you know, he's been injured. And this kind of imitates that in a way. So you have that, and then like if you look at this, one of the cool things about this pattern, I don't know if you can even see it, I'll flash it a little bit on this one in particular, is that same pattern. There's little spots where it's not there. So it's almost like that, like where that bait fish has been hit and held and spit out again, and he's missing like a scale here, or scales, you know, in not in the right position. So he looks injured, like just aesthetically. So anyway, usually, like I said, to sum it all up, if I'm throwing a Megabass 110 or other Megabass jerkbaits and nothing's really happening for me, or if I notice that like every swinger on the lake is throwing a Megabass 110, I'll either change colors on my Megabass, just try that out if it seems pretty specific to that type of jerkbait, and then I'm going to go to these, and I'm going to fish, you know, the same areas that if there's guys, you know, a lot of these lakes, everybody knows every spot now. So it's like you can go behind people with this stuff, and that little difference in action, that little difference in color and profile to every, you know, every bass knows what a Megabass is now. So this little difference here can put some extra bites in the boat. And when this doesn't work, then you downsize to this other deep pointer. Excuse me. And then I also have some other bevy shads, if you ever heard of that. That was one of my, I've talked about that in other ones. And this little deep diver pointer is kind of like a close resemblance, but you can still get these. They're still made. You throw this stuff on the same tackle. I mean, you could throw that small pointer on a spinning rod if you want, but I typically throw mine on, you know, 6/8, medium light, extra fast, and that's what this St. Croix is. It's my jerkbait rod, and I'll throw some other small cranks on it, but I can throw, it's got a zillion on it, older one. So the newer ones are going to probably handle a little bit better, but this seems to handle some of the light stuff, and I you know, I haven't had any problems landing fish with it, but it's an awesome rod. It allows me to fill my jerkbait, allows me to impart action with, you know, it's got a little bit of give in that tip, and just an awesome rod. Never mind, I take that back. It's a medium extra fast, but it fishes to me like a medium light. It's a very light jerkbait rod, and that's kind of the only jerkbait rod that I typically use, unless I'm up in my jerkbait size, then I have, you know, heavier stuff. But there's other things in play. Typically when I'm jerkbait fishing, I'm in clear water, and I'm in this time of year, you know. That's when I typically have that jerkbait in my hand. Not that I don't throw it in summer or winter or whatnot, but I just feel like this handles everything, you know, the traditional 110 millimeter and below jerkbait, just a lot better, this size outfit. And oh yeah, I didn't even go to the line. So anywhere from 10 below fluorocarbon, straight fluorocarbon on this. I say 10 below 10 if you're really, maybe you're on some cover or you're trying to get the bait up a little bit high, and I'll even go down like I typically 8 and 6 is what I'm running. But you can go down to 4 if you really need to. You got some super clear water. But 10 to, you know, 10, or I mean 8 is pretty standard for me, and then maybe 6 sometimes. It just depends on the conditions and the pressure and the water clarity. But anyway, that's my tip, and then we'll hopefully get some better, you know, videos. Like I said, we're gonna try to go fishing here, but it is pretty, you know, hectic when you're adding an additional $100 plus expense when you think about going to the lake. It's just, I know a lot of you guys are having the same issue. It's really hard. I've seen it in some of these tournament turnouts are not, you know, not faring so well just because of that, because it's like it shifts the cost benefit, you know, to fishing these tournaments. So, you know, my thinking as well, probably just going to go have fun fishing and take my daughter and whatnot, and kind of set the tournament fishing aside until hopefully the world in itself and the economic situation in this country kind of settle down a little bit, where we can actually plan a little bit and have, you know, like go over that risk analysis for fishing different tournaments. Now, if somehow I do want to go to the U.S. Open again and swing for those fences, because that's a purse, and I think you'll still pull 200 boats just because it's such an iconic tournament. And to me, it's fun. I love Lake Mead. Anyway, like, subscribe. Talk to you later.